everybody, and welcome to today's video. And in today's video, I will be discussing why Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, may lose essentially all relevancy, or not all relevancy, all leverage in the United States Senate, come the 2022 midterms. And so, for those of you that don't know, Joe Manchin is a Democratic senator from West Virginia, and Kyrsten Sinema is a Democratic senator from Arizona, and they are probably the two most conservative Democrats in the Senate. In fact, there could be arguments made that Susan Collins or Lisa Murkowski are actually more liberal than they are. But probably the two most conservative Democrats in the Senate. I believe, I'll actually go pull this up. I do not have it pulled up, but I will go pull it up. That they voted with Trump more than they did not. Like I said, do not have the 538 tracking Congress in the age of Trump thing pulled up. I will do that right now. Okay, I have it pulled up. As you guys can see, Kyrsten Sinema voted with Trump 50.4% of the time, and Joe Manchin, wherever he is, I don't know where he is. He's gonna be hold up. Did I pass him? Okay, no, those are all Republicans. But Joe Manchin, I believe, voted Joe Manchin 50.4% as well. So probably the two most conservative Democrats in the Senate. They have a lot of leverage as, like, for example, with the filibuster. They could essentially make or break this Democrats trying to pass the filibuster, because really, if they don't want, or not only filibuster, DC statehood and the filibuster, I guess, but the Republicans will probably block that. They have all the leverage for almost all this, because they only hold a 50-50 majority. So for Democrats to be able to eliminate essentially all their leverage, they would need probably at least 52 to 53 seats. 53 if they were to lose the Senate, but still have it for the next 2 years. So as we go into this, let's go label a bunch of these safe states. Washington, Oregon, California. Colorado is going to be safe. Unless, actually, not unless anything. Colorado's going to be safe, period. That's it. Vermont and Maryland could both be competitive. Should Phil Scott or Larry Hogan run? I doubt either of them will. I will just go label the Republican states real quick. But I will probably be unlabeling a few of these. That'll be likely, but it'll still be, Republican. That'll probably be likely. Maybe lean. I don't know. But anyways, Democrats are already going to win Nevada and Arizona. That's not, like, certain, but there's a very good chance that they do. As you can see, in 2016, Catherine Cortez Masto won Nevada by 2.4%. Okay, and I've just pulled up a 2022 or 2020 Senate map. So we have Arizona and Georgia if we ever need to reference those. And I don't know why it is not loading. Actually, hold up. Okay, here we are. Anyways, so, and Mark Kelly won his seat also by 2.4%. They're both probably going to be lean. I think Mark Kelly will probably expand on his margins. They're winning by 3%, maybe 4% as the suburbs continue to shift to the left. Georgia is probably still going to be lean blue. Shifting demographics tell us that. As we take a look at this, Raphael Warnock still won by 2%. The Republicans would have to run a really good candidate, but given the fact that he is the incumbent, and we are seeing turnout still below normal level below their share of the population among black voters, along with the fact that there's a better chance not that Stacey Abrams is on the ticket. I'm going to assume it's going to be lean blue. So, yeah, there we have that. Oh, also Pennsylvania will probably be lean blue. John Fetterman has announced that he's going to run. I don't really see him losing. The GOP would have to run a really good candidate. I think that John Fetterman has the appeal. I don't see him losing. I think that the best case for the GOP is Till Red, but I don't see that happening. So I would say that right now the best case for the GOP is like 0.2%. For the Democrats, but I see it probably being more like a 2% margin of victory, considering that Fetterman is very popular and that he, I discussed this in my How Joe Biden Won Pennsylvania video. The suburbs of Pennsylvania, I believe, are still red, so as they continue to shift, it'll probably be a Democratic state, heading into 2022. Now, there are a few more states, left. First one I talk about is New Hampshire. I think that it'll be tilt blue. That's assuming that Kyrsten Sinema does run. Maggie Hassan very narrowly won. Honestly, New Hampshire could easily be tilt red. It wouldn't be insane if it were tilt red should Kyrsten run. Sununu is very popular in New Hampshire. I made an argument in a recent video that Sununu might lose just due to the fact that just because they want to elect him as the governor, they might not want to elect him to Senate. It could really go either way. But I think that considering the fact that it is very close, I think that there is still a chance that it'll be tilt blue. And this is just how Democrats could lose, or how Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema could lose all leverage. I think that there's honestly a good chance that it does vote blue. I think there's also a really good chance, maybe a better chance, I don't know, that it votes red. It's going to be close. We already know that. But it's for this, we're just going to label it tilt blue. And now the final state, actually, we can talk about a few, is North Carolina. Now, I do have North Carolina presidential gubernatorial, presidential gubernatorial, that doesn't make any sense, presidential polls from 2020. The suburbs were still red. They were red by 21%. The suburbs are continuing to shift. We saw back in 2016 that the suburbs were red by 24%. So they're going to continue to shift. And I think if Democrats were to run a decent candidate, they could honestly win there. They need to do better among white rural voters. I don't necessarily know that the GOP could do much better than what they already have done. So I think that at this point, it's Democrats are only going to be doing better among white rural voters. And in the suburbs, Democrats are going to continue to do better. I still personally think that it will be tilt red. Just because I don't think that the suburbs will shift quickly enough over the span of 2 years. However, we have to remember that Democrats only lost her by that Joe Biden only lost her by, I believe it was 1.4%, 1.3, no, it's 1.3%, I think. If this will load, okay, that's still in Ohio. I'm just going to go down here, North Carolina. Yeah, okay, 1.3%. So it's a very narrow victory for Donald Trump. And considering the fact that the suburbs are still so red, I think that there's a really good chance that it does continue to shift. A few more states, Alaska and Wisconsin. First off, Alaska is going to probably be tilt red, or likely red. Lisa Murkowski, I don't see her, actually, well, I do see her becoming a Democrat. That's not crazy, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I just don't see it, I just doubt it'll happen. I think that like I said, there's a good chance that it does. But at the moment, she is still a Republican, so we're going to keep that in the likely red column. And the final state is Wisconsin. I still think that this will probably vote lean red to tilt red. But if Ron Johnson retires and the Democrats run a candidate with populist appeal, they can honestly win the state. I don't necessarily know that they will. And if Ron Johnson doesn't retire, it'll probably be close, but they're probably still going to lose there. But at this point, Democrats have a 52-48 majority. So the only real leverage that Sinema and Manchin have, there isn't really any. The only leverage that they have is if they need an outright majority for something without Kamala Harris's vote, which I don't know if there is anything that they would need an outright majority for. But Harris's vote at this point would split the tie, even if so I just pulled up this map. Sorry that I wasn't quite prepared for that. But even if they both vote red on every issue, basically, I have Sinema's seat in Arizona red and Manchin's seat in West Virginia red. Even if these two vote red on every issue, which as we see over here, I'm just gonna go look up their names because I don't feel like scrolling. If we go look at Joe Manchin, he voted with Trump the majority of the time. In the 116th Congress, he voted with him far less. But in the 115th Congress, he voted with him much, much more often than not. So, he did vote with Trump, overall more than he didn't. He voted with Trump overall more than he didn't. Not Kyrsten Gillibrand. Here, I'll just go scroll because she was easy to find a minute ago. Kyrsten, okay, this was a lot, that's my bad. She also voted with Trump 50.4% of the time. So it's really not a crazy idea that they vote red all the time. But even if they do, they still don't have their leverage. They still don't have the leverage that they previously do, because North Carolina would be blue, Pennsylvania would be blue, and New Hampshire would stay blue. And we could make the argument that Jon Tester in Montana could flip it, but the thing is, I think that Tester is not gonna be quite like Manchin or Sinema. If we actually go look up his Trump score, John. Okay, there's a lot of people named John in Congress. Oh, is it with no N? Yeah, okay, it is. Jon Tester. He only voted with him 30.2 percentage. Hold up. This is very weird. Okay, yeah. This was a little bit confusing because it said plus 20.4, yet it said that he only voted with him. Okay, yeah, 30 points. That was weird and confusing. But Tester, as you can see, doesn't vote with Trump as much. I think that he's still probably going to win re-election in 2024. They'll probably be by a narrow margin, probably by a lean margin. But I still think he will win re-election. Even with the way that he's voting than Trump, because in Montana, it's more competitive, not very competitive, but in a lot of these more competitive states, they support Trump less. I think that'll probably be I think I'll probably still win there, but I don't think that he'll vote red a lot, especially considering the fact that Joe Biden will be the president and he'll have a bit of an excuse trying to vote along party lines. But I think that, honestly, at this point, as long as Democrats can win in North Carolina and Pennsylvania, which is a very good chance that they do, I think that there is going back over to the Senate map, I think that there's a very good chance that we see this, and a good chance we see this. I don't see Democrats losing their majority, but I think that for them to be able to, for them to essentially be able to tell Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema that, not that their votes don't matter, but that they don't have the leverage that they previously did. They would need to win there. I don't necessarily know that it will happen, but it is very, very possible, and I think that there is a very good chance that it does happen. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Stay tuned for my next video, and I will see you all there. Bye!